This is it. So the Rebbe says about this answer. We see something in next week's parsha. Ya'akov tells the Malachim. He says, "Tell the Malachim in love and Garti." Tell him love and Garti. And Rashi says, "What does Garti mean?" Garti is the gematria on actually the same letters of Taryag. So he says, "In love and Garti, the Taryag mitzvahs shamarti." That's Dr. Rashi fans. And just tie it. Everybody that you will know it well. Like Yossi Ma'ashki.
The Medrash actually says Kiyamti. You changed that.
Exactly. Did you learn the secret?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you learn with the guys? Did you learn with the guys? I didn't want to tell them.
No, not with the guys.
Okay, so Dafka wanted the Medrash, the Gemara says Kiyam. The Gemara knew it says Kiyam.
Wait, what's Gematria 613?
Taryag. It's the same. It's Garti. It's the same letters of Lov and Garti. Taryag. So Yaakov himself says, "I kept all the mitzvahs in Loman's house, outside of Eretz Yisrael." So it can't be, according to that, to the Pshat of the Ramban, that can't be. That's not necessarily the answer. So we have to. So the Rebbe says, we have to look at it like this. What is this idea of, first of all, that two sisters can't marry each other, right? It's called Sarah. Sarah from Amish, like it's that you're bringing those. It's a pain. So it causes them pain. You know, the natural way of sisters is that they're very close to each other. There's a very strong bond. This would, when two sisters marry, that when someone marries more than one white woman, they can be competitive. They can grow up to to not like each other. But
you see in the first
well, sure enough, yeah, they cause them. It causes malfunction. And so the main ikar of this mitzvah is vitzar. So that's one thing to bear in mind. So another one explanation that they want to give is that maybe the Imais, Vorchel and Leah, before they married Yaakov, they had to be in this diet. They had to officially, go through conversion. Right? So it's like, and it says that Gersh in this guy, Katan Shalan. That a Gersh in this guy is like a Katan. It's like someone that's brand new, being born brand new, and any familial relationships that it had before are no longer void, are null and void. So technically, they're no longer sisters. And technically, according to the technical term, if a person converts and the sister converts, they would technically be allowed to marry each other. We don't do it.
If they both convert also, if they both convert, it's the same.
Yeah.
Do you have to remarry?
They're not considered siblings anymore.
Wow.
Even father and daughter.
Even father and daughter, even mother and son, it gets really Oedipal, it gets really weird.
But they don't
Husband and wife need to remarry?
Yes.
Husband and wife need to remarry. They have to separate for a week or something like that. They can't live with each other during that process, and they actually need to remarry.
Siblings who convert and marry each other? Yes.
Yeah, not psychologically.
Wait, so if they both convert, they don't become family again?
Not medically.
Exactly. They're brand new people, brand new families. Brand new families. They both share. They share parents technically. They both been Avram and Sarah.
Right.
About Avram and Sarah, but that's the only way. So technically, they could actually remarry each other. But the problem with this answer is the whole psychological ramification of this in the first place. Even though Bnei Noach realized that that you can't do this side, there would still be. They would even though on the halachically maybe they wouldn't be sisters, but biologically they still are. So they still would still cause the same kind of tension, and a disruption of the natural love of the bond that these sisters have. So
That's not it.
So it can't be that way. So another explanation that what's that?
What does the Rebbe say to reject this?
No, that's the Rebbe's.
That psychologically,
They're still sisters.
we see realistically that biologically and emotionally, they still share share the same connection that they had before. It wouldn't, they're not thinking, oh, this is just somebody else in the house,
How does he say that?
Huh?
How does the Rebbe say that?
It says in Yiddish. You want me to explain? You want to say how it says it?
Yeah, you do. That's okay.
The sister. Sister is sister.
Die Baal is erg by stay archish the avtvis. Still, by two sisters that convert, there's still that natural love that they have, the bond they have.
They love it.
Tara nit for the Zachen as they sollen werden zu tzadlezu. So you still have this issue of this one will be there'll be a tzara to each other.
They still draw with each other?
Right.
Okay.
So he says that you have to say that with the way that they always kept the Torah before was in a way of a chumrah. They kept the Torah. The mitzvah that they kept is in a way of a chumrah. So even though they kept all the Torah, when it came to something that was a tzivut that would override that, like you have the chumrah, if you have something that's necessary to override that, then this is just a chumrah. You don't have to, you're allowed to override it.
Turn back the Torah.
Turn back on the chumrah.
Because they were obligated to show mitzvahs in Neach, but they weren't obligated to the Torah. The Torah was a chumrah, but show mitzvahs in Neach.
Right. Thank you. Yes. So the Shav mitzvahs b'nei Neach, they had a stronger obligation for than the actual mitzvahs of the Torah. And in fact, where there's something of Shav mitzvahs b'nei Neach was in effect that their chumrah of the Torah, of them keeping the Torah, couldn't override that. So, for example, we see by Abram, why didn't he give himself a bris? Why did he have to wait till Hashem's commandment? Because there's the commandment against shvichus damim, against spilling blood, right? That's a commandment in the Torah also. But it's a commandment by the Shav mitzvahs b'nei Neach. So his give himself a bris would have fallen under the category of spilling blood, of doing harm, even to your own self. So only when he is commanded by God to do it, then this commandment can override his own chumrah. So same thing with Yaakov. What happens here? Yaakov promises ورחل that he's going to marry. In the beginning of the parsha, we see that Yaakov says, that he loves ورחل. He tells Lavan says, I don't want you to work for free. Yaakov says, I want to marry your daughter ورחل. He says, I'll work 7 years to marry her. Everybody knows about that. Yaakov's going to marry ورחل. It's set in stone. Not only that, we learned in the Gemara yesterday that Leah knew that the travelers would come from Israel. They would go to Haran, and they would say, Rivka has 2 sons, and Lavan has 2 daughters, and they marry each other. Right. And the Mashal says, why would they say that? Because they knew about the problem that they needed to marry into their own family. Avram had married his niece. And Yitzchak, when you see this whole episode, Avram says, only go for my family. Only don't go left or right. Only go to get someone that's for my family. So everybody knew that when it came time to Yaakov's son, to Rivka's sons, to Yitzchak's children, for sure they were going to marry their family. And what did they say? You have Esav and Yaakov, and then by Lavan you have Leah and Rachel. So sure, the 2 sons are going to marry 2 daughters, and the older one's going to go to the older one, the younger one's going to the young one. So it was set in stone on that Yaakov's going to marry Rachel no matter what. So he has this Havtachah, he has this promise. And the breaking of that promise would be considered, even to the Bnei Neach, illegal and immoral, and it to be this idea of dishonesty. It was like the idea of dishonesty that Yaakov cannot override, and it would cause her this pain that he would have been deceived her. I promise you, I'm married. On the end, I'm not going to marry. This deception to Rachel would have been the greater crime. The greater crime that even Bnei Nechad. And we see by Ya'akov, it says in something interesting, it says, and I'm going to ask Yirmiyahu where it says this. It says, Titan Chesed Avram, Emes Yaakov. Titan Emes Yaakov. Where does it say Titan Emes Yaakov? I think it's Micha, Kapitel Zayin, Pasuk Chav. Why? Because there's a famous what's Micha, Kapitel Zayin, Pasuk Tezvav. The Rebbe quotes it a lot. It's also in Tilma about the Emes Yaakov. We say that at the end of one of the Halalukas of the Magid Yaakov.
You don't say Titin Emes Yaakov. See Magid Yaakov.
Magid Yaakov. Titan Emes Yaakov is from Micha.
Titin Emes Yaakov Chesed Abraham.
Micha Chav. Micha Zayin Chav.
Yeah, Zayin.
Zayin Pasuk Chav. The test.
It says at the bottom of the
Oh, sorry. Did you already say that?
I'm asking you. What does it say?
Yeah, it says Micha Zayin.
What pasuk?
Titin
Can't
Emes
tell if it's a cup or a
Yaakov.
piece.
It's a chav. All right.
Page 16 of the Sitter.
Page 16 in the blue sitter.
No, that's right. Micha Zayin. Micha Zayin. Parak Zayin and Micha is a famous parak. It's got a lot of. I don't know. Famous. It says. Pasuk Tetzvav says. Kimeitz. It says. Chameyanis and Tzayim Adenu Neflayis. As in the days that you had a Egypt, I will show you wonders. Wonders. So this is a famous line, the Rebbe quotes line that, and because we always read the footnotes, everybody read the footnotes. We all know where this stuff is from. You guys, please, I'm begging you, when you learn to read the footnotes, always. Nobody has time to go through the whole culture, not especially not our condition, when we have, the cell phones, the TV that we can distract us beautifully, and YouTube and Facebook. We don't have time to go through all these books. So what do? When we read the Sikh, the Mamar, whatever, we always look at the footnotes. Even in David, he's got a great line. Look at the footnotes. We'll find out where it's from. Please, guys, read the footnotes. You're gonna be, especially in Sikh Mamar, you're gonna be bucky. You're gonna have exposure to go there in a way they wouldn't know before. Read the footnotes, and then when you get a chance, you go over and you look it up in the source, and that's the fun part. You can actually see it inside of the source. So Yaakov is all about emes. Emes is truth. Emes is honesty. He can't possibly go against this deception, especially since even Bnei Noach will guard themselves against that. So the chumrah that Yaakov has of keeping Torah mitzvahs by himself, is overridden by the obvious the issue of being dishonest towards Ravah and deceiving her, and being in a sense being cruel to her. So, and that's from the point of Yaakov. So that's why it says in the Rashi, the Rebbe points out. That's why it says, but Rashi used the lashon of Taryag mitzvahs shamarti and not kiyamti or atzisi, because the shamir of the mitzvahs is when you make sure that your own hither isn't. Kiyam would have been, I can't do this. This is exactly what the mitzvah is. I can't do. But the shmir is when you have a situation like this, like with Avram, that you don't do milah unless you're actually commanded to do it. So then we get to the point of, and interestingly enough, there's a Gemara in Pesachim that talks about it gets into Hallel, right? That you do at the end, right? It goes through the Seder, and then you get to Hallel. Talks about each of the cups that you do, and then it gets to Hallel. So it talks about Hallel. It talks about gets into the Pesukim that David would say, which Hallel is included a lot of the Tehillim, right? And then it talks about that when Mashiach comes to Shem today, there's going to be a big feast, right, for the tzaddikim. The Levyasin and the Sharbar and the Yaim of Butzam, Ganut, the Shumer, what? Yaim and Shumer, the great Yaim, and they're going to have a big Sunnah, and then they're going to have Birch Hamazon. Of course, you bench on the kais, right? Afilu she'ein b'yisar, mebarchen al kais she'ilu ve'ein b'yisar. That's a Yom Yom that sits from the top on Yudal Kislev, which is coming up next Thursday.
Even if he doesn't have what?
If you don't have 10 people.
Oh.
In the olden days, in fact, everyone had their own table, so everyone would do kosher bracha for benches. In the olden days, time for the Gemara, olden days could be like, during Washington, in the Victorian age. I don't mean that a day. I mean the old days. People, when everyone had their own table, everyone do their own kosher bracha. But now we do kosher bracha, and then we dock it. I read somewhere else, especially if there's wine at the meal. So we have to, you guys, it's in honor of the Yudal Kislev, this amazing, greatest day of the calendar. We should have to be incidentally. Careful about so we're always going. We bench on our case. So they get the birch the money. They're going to bench on our case. Who's going to lead the benching? That's the conversation gets to do. Who's going to lead the benching? So Avram says, "Daf Kuf Yud Tes in Psachim."
That's a friend of mine's favorite number.
Kuf Yud Tes in Psachim. Why is his favorite? For what we have Kuf Yud Tes in Shabbos. Remember Kuf Yud Tes in Shabbos that we have over there? That's the Kuf Yud Tes in Shabbos. The famous daf talks about. Levi says about saying Vaychulu. Whoever says Vaychulu Friday night, all the sins are forgiven. And then it gets into with the Malachim saying Shalom Aleichem. What do they say? Why do we say it? Then it gets into now the topic of forgiving your sins for something. I'm saying Amen Yishmei Abba B'Kol Keichet.
I'm going to be shooting the lead.
Rashi says B'Kol Kavana. The Teish says B'Kol Aram. Right. So that's Kuf Yud Tes on Shabbos. Now we have Kuf Yud Tes in Psachim, and it says that they're going to have the big suda, the Yagda Yel, also that Kadosh Baruch Hu Asher Suda Tzadikim, B'Yom Sheyigmol Chasi L'Zara Shal Yitzchak. The day that he completes his chesed to the children of Yitzchak, because we're going to call him Yitzchak. After they eat and drink nicely, they have a Rabbeinu Kosher Bracha. They give Kosher Bracha to Avram Rabbeinu. Levarach to teach a bench on it. He says that I can't be the one to bench. Sheyatzim Mimeni Yishmael, because Yishmael came out. Amar the Yitzchak, tell them they said the Yitzchak you should bench. I can't do because Esav came out. It's not proper, huh? Sorry?
Oh, he pops his zanny. He does.
What's he say? He pops his zanny and what?
I thought Esav was going to. Was it Ishmael? One of them is going to at least try to pop his zanny. Okay, sorry.
You're right up for everyone. The Ya'akov tell him Baruch to please lead the benching. I married two sisters. Which in the future the Torah will prohibit me from doing. So, in the meantime, the Torah from is a chumrah, and the chumrah that can get overridden by don't be machmer, don't be so firm on someone else's cheshbon. That's where it gets it from. Don't be so firm on someone else's cheshbon. The Rachel's going to get really hurt from this, really deceived, they're really liked, etc. and pain. Oh, I guess I'm sorry. I'm very from a Brexit. We can do this. Don't be from someone else's husband in the case where you.
But still keep kosher.
Always keep kosher. Yeah. I'm sorry. Find a better way to say it.
Exactly.
So that's what Ya'akov says. And in the future, so he explains. I see the title Eis in a life. And I'm really the Moshe. They say Moshe tell about that that's Moshe should bench. He says, I can't do it because I didn't merit to enter Eretz Yisrael. Not my life nor my passing. You didn't get buried there. I'm Yeshua, they tell you Yeshua tell about it.
Who was that before this?
Moshe. Moshe says, I didn't merit to go into Eretz Yisrael, not through my life. He says, we all merited. How did we merit to be here in Eretz Yisrael?
Wow. Why didn't they ask Yosef? Oh,
we're not by Yosef, but actually no, we see that. They always Moshe then Yeshua. They tell him. He says, I can't bench because I didn't have a son. Yeshua ben Nun.
I have a son.
Benoi.
You didn't have a son?
Yeshua benoi. David. Then they get to David Melech. Tell the Ani Avrech, he says, I attack will delete the bench and do the. Why? Ani Avrech will be not Levarach, and it'll be nice for me to bench. Why? Shenemar, Karis Yeshuis Eso B'Shem Alishem Ekra. David Melch already says this Kaisha Bracha. Karis Yeshuis Eso. I will lift the cup of salvation.
What does Yosef say?
They didn't ask us. B'Shem Hashem Ekra, the name of Hashem. Yosef's David's already got a cup. He says, I know all about this Kaisha Bracha. So that's what Yaakov said.
So Christ doesn't. So David doesn't do it.
Our souls are
David does do it.
David is the one who does it, right?
He's the one who says, Ani Avrech, the lead not Levarach. And it's been very nice when he's doing
Because he's the only one who did Shiva. Probably say it. Probably say it.
So now,
His son.
so what's happening?
David's son.
So we get to the point that Rachel and Leah, they're sisters. You can't marry sister because it's sudar. It's a pain for them. It'll disrupt their natural love that they have each other. But what do we see? What do we see by Rachel and Leah?
Or do you?
Hopefully we'll see something. Lavan promises that you can marry Rachel. Then he tricks it. And then Yaakov and Rachel make signs. Disimanim for each other. So just in case they trick, they'll know, Yaakov will know that he's being tricked. And he'll call it off. He'll stop everything.
Secrets.
So the Lavan tells Leah the night of the chuppah, Lavan says no, it tells him, guess what, guys, surprise. Leah's going to be the one. It's not, I'm going to have Leah marry Yaakov and Rachel will even retrieve your gun and still get credit for it, in-store credit. So, Rachel could have just let it go. She said, all right, Yaakov's he's going to find out eventually and he'll just make a big stink about it, I'll call it off, and then, he'll think, he's not going to fall for it. Or, and then what will happen? Leah will be horribly humiliated. She will undergo a horrible discomfort. Rachel says, I cannot bear it. The love that she has for her sister is greater than this idea of tsar. The whole tsara that it is, that when you bring the two sisters marry each other, they don't have anymore. They don't have. Rachel loves her sister so much that she says, God, I'll give you the sign so you will marry Yaakov. I don't want you to be humiliated. Not just I don't want to be humiliated. I want the wedding should go through that. It wouldn't be like a metric twice or whatever. That'll know that you'll take these signs and you will marry Yaakov. The mysterious nefesh that she has, and the rachmanis that she has. Because Rachel is about the rachmanis. Rachel is Mama Rachel, right? She cries for the Yidden to Raz Rachmim on it. She has his Rachmanis. She has his Rachmanis on Leah. So why Rachel is called the aim. She's called the she's called the aim. It says she's really considered. They call her specifically the mother of all the aim, all the fallen mothers. She's mentioned as like the Karas over there. But by Rachel's yard saying is Yud Aleph Cheshvan, which is 41 days after Rosh Hashanah, which is the Gematria of Aim. That's another way we say that we solidify that she's the mother. So the mother, because she has their nature is a merciful one. So she doesn't want Leah to be hurt.
Let's see, the pot is like.
She'd rather give the song up. She doesn't have to get any signs. Why should she get signs? Yaakov will just say, forget it. You're trying to kill me. I caught you. Let's try this again. Start over.
So those pieces.
So she gives Leah the signs so that the Yaakov will go through the marriage and think that not realize and think that it's wrong. So this idea of tsar doesn't even exist now between Leah and Rachel. Sometimes not always the Torah gives a reason for a commandment. It says the Torah says don't do this. It doesn't say why you shouldn't do this. But the Torah says by marrying two sisters, it's because you bring the tsar into the house. In fact, It says you're not ever married. You know, even you can't. Even if you marry one, then you divorce. You can't have marry the sister in the lifetime of the other one, because it's still going to be upset. You know, it's still going to be cause a point of contention.
Did David also marry
And kosher, it's not kosher.
I'm not sure.
Meaning
I don't know.
not kosher meat, kosher milk.
I didn't know
Kosher
that.
milk falls on top.
Cautious he did because you were us already.
Yeah, he couldn't. But then, by then, it was my entire. So the talking by Ravchel and Leah doesn't exist. So there's not a lot of when the Torah does give a reason, so you could say that at least before the Torah was given, if this reason is not an extent, then the mitzvah itself could be overrated. So for sure, the case before the Torah. So that's right. Again, this is why Yaakov says, "But Gati b'tari mitzvah shamarti," as opposed to like hiyamti, like I fulfilled everyone according to the letter of the law. I guarded them, I watched them, I made sure that not to be too frum on someone else's cheshbon. That if another mitzvah came about that would override my chumrah, I go with that mitzvah. And then again, so that the whole idea of tzara that by Ravchel and Leah didn't even exist. They didn't have that. Their love for each other, their bond that they had was so great that even that wouldn't apply in their case. They wouldn't have. Rachel was willingly willing to have Leah, to share Yaakov with Leah. So much so that she willingly gave her the signs of her own volition, so that Leah would be able to be married with Yaakov.
No, but they knew that the Shvatim would come out of both of them. Huh?
They knew that there was going to be Shvatim. They thought that there was going to be. They didn't know it until really the time, because the Yaakov is commandment of the Shvatim. So that's where he had to marry David. But he didn't know which ones were going to come out of. Come out just one of them. You didn't have to marry all four of them. You knew he was going to have 12 Shvatim. You didn't know from how many people would take to get there.
Could they have had thirst if he had only married one of them, given the circumstances? Could that have produced thirst?
No, then because the tzara that you're bringing for this first wife, you're bringing a tzara, you're bringing a friction for her into the house. You're bringing a pain for her in the house by marrying this second one. If you just marry one, then it's not the other one. They may have been jealous.
Oh, but in the case the Rachel would. Oh, okay, but it's not. I see what you're saying. Okay.
But it's
it
not
might have been jealous, but it's not.
Yes. You know, everybody had their heart broken before. You move on. Maybe it takes 5 years.
I think it means it pushes.
So this is like how the rabbis explains beautifully this famous question. He says Rashi doesn't even ask this question. He starts off with this thing. He says, why does Rashi ask this question? A 5-year-old says, all right, the 5-year-old they didn't learn yet that sisters ought to marry each other. So, but then when they do learn that sisters ought to marry each other, the Rashi went back and said, then how could Yaakov do it? So there must have been some obvious reasons why it was too obvious. And then the Rebbe goes in the whole thing.
Some of the boiling went into the cold, and it takes one to let
it's if you guys want to check, it's in Chelek Hey of Lekut Sichos.
No.
And
The meat, right? Meat's in the bottom, the meat's cold. You're saying it's in the bottom. See? Piece of water cheese. Isn't the meat underneath? The meat's not underneath. The meat is boiling, and the cheese down there is.
he was saying that it wouldn't even help that if Yaakov would have divorced Leah and then married Rachel, because once you marry one, you can't marry the other one during their life.
It cools it down. So if only it's circulating.
Okay, good. So this is a famous question that people have. You know, like it's in the back of your mind somewhere. Oh, by the way, Yaakov married sisters. How technically are you going to get away with that? So the Rebbe goes through all the questions and all the answers, and the bottom line is this promise that he gives to Rachel. The promise that he gives to Rachel and Yaakov is you can't, have to treat her or beauty is truth and truth is beauty. That's all you need to know. Where's that from?
In a case where fall.
I think it's Keats and at the end of Oda Grecian.
It's in Asian Chai or something.
Asian Chai, so Keats is Asian. Oda Grecian.
What do you say? Beg the question. How could Yaakov do what he did with his mother and Yitzchak when he's the attribute of emes? And here he is.
He didn't want to. That's why he could have come up with this idea in the first place. But the kibbut of the aim overrides his own chumrah. His mother says, "You got to do this. I'm commanding you. You got to get this done." And then she says, "Okay, now you got to go."
He said, "I don't want to do it. My father's going to touch me."
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to get involved. Interesting. We see that this amazing thing we learned about from the Marsha yesterday about signs that Yaakov gives to that Leah, that Yaakov gives to ورחل, and then ورחل gives over to Leah. How did Yaakov not just recognize her voice?
Maybe
Some said she was hiding out in the other room nearby.
Oh yeah.
One family, yeah, it's like a throwing her voice or something.
Like a puppet.
It doesn't seem that convincing.
That would be awkward.
But sisters sound alike a lot of the time.
Certainly, sisters sound like.
They sound.
But he said the Simonim were so strong that like they didn't even think about the overrode the voice itself. And he gives an example from Yaakov when he dresses up. When he goes to act like to get the brachas from Yitzchak, he also put on Simonim to disguise himself.
Yeah.
He put on the Simonim and Yitzchak says the Kol Yaakov, but the Simonim were strong enough to override the call, the voice.
It's interesting that we know what those simanim are, but we don't know what the simanim about.
That's the secret.
It's like women need to have some secrets.
Yeah, it's a secret. Sisters, man. You know.
Yeah.
They had a secret handshake.
I don't think it was a handshake.
It was the sort of thing that I would be able to say to her without that.
Just again to go over what we talked about yesterday in the Rasha about the shnua. You know, how could that the Leah was hated? How could it say the Gemara asked the question? How could you say about Yaakov that or about one of the Imais that they were hated? So the Rava says, I think he says that she wasn't. You can't say hated about her, but that she. What did she hate? She hated the hanhaga, the sins of Esav. And the Gemara specifically says the sin, the acts, and not Esav.
Yeah.
Like it says by the righteous women. It's Anna that she was hated, but right. He says like we
were reading about this also.
We were reading this yesterday in the Gemara in Baba Basra Kuf Chaf Gimel. You can't say that one of the Maris is hated. You know, so what's the hatred that she hated? She had hatred for Esav because she knew about Esav's deeds, and she had hatred for that. And it says Dafka, the Ma'aser of Esav, not Esav. Well, like we see by Yosef and Bria. She tells Bria and Meir, the famous of Bria and Meir, they have the trouble.